So in this video, I just wanted to give you a side-by-side of what a chart looks like when you're using Placidus versus whole signs, especially since if you've watched any of my other videos or had a session with me, you hear me go on about whole signs and about making sure you change the house system to whole signs. And so I wanted you just to, again, have a visual. And so this is the exact same birth information for both of the charts. And the planets are going to be in the same zodiac sign. So that's not going to change. So regardless of your house system, if you have a sun in Aries, your sun's going to be in Aries. That's not going to change. What's going to change is what house it's in. So over here on the left, we've got whole signs. Over here on the right, this is Placidus. And I'm not going to talk about the merits necessarily of one versus the other, but I just wanted you to see how they are different visually and how the houses will change. So over here in whole signs, what that basically means is it is one house per sign. So Sagittarius is 30 degrees. There's 30 degrees in every single house, every single sign, all the way around, just even 30 degrees and one house per sign. So first house Sag, second house Capricorn. But if you go over here to Placidus, you'll notice it's going to be not quite as obvious all the way through the first. Oh, you can see it. See how the first house spans Sagittarius and Capricorn here? And you've got the second house spanning two signs. And so what you run into in Placidus is a house can be in more than one sign. And there's even something called intercepted houses that you don't get in a whole sign system that I'm not going to get into, but you don't have that at all in whole signs because it's just one house per sign. Over here, this is another, see how small? See, this is the sixth house here. It's pretty small. And see the seventh house, how much bigger it is, and even bigger up here on the eighth. So the houses are going to be different sizes. So that's the main thing that you're going to notice when you switch to Placidus. And if you go online and you are just pulling up your chart, like you're just going to a free chart calculator, it defaults to Placidus. So most people, when they run their charts, that's what they see. And most of the times when you get a chart reading, it's usually in Placidus. So whole sign houses, you don't have to practice Hellenistic astrology to use whole sign houses. A lot of people use whole sign houses, but if you're a Hellenistic astrologer, you absolutely use whole sign houses. The whole sign house system is the oldest house system. And it's pretty straightforward. Again, 30 degrees, all the way through equal sizes. So the other thing over here in Placidus, though, which you'll notice is if you see this person over here on the left in whole sign, see all of their stuff, everything Aries, since it's one house per zodiac sign. If it's in Aries, it's all in the fifth house. Well, over here in Placidus, because you can have more than one house for the zodiac sign, some of the planets are actually in the fourth house. So Venus, Chiron's not a planet, but here we've got Venus, Chiron, Mercury, and Saturn all being here in the fourth house. So that can be a big change for people if they're used to seeing their house and have had charts read or really kind of identify. It's like, no, but my stuff just feels so fourth house. That's the house of home, house of ancestors, whereas the fifth house is more creativity, children. It's just different. It's a different flavor to some of these things. And so it can feel like an identity shift if you're used to having your chart done in Placidus and you switch to whole sign. Personally, I felt like I made so much more sense in whole sign, and that's why I switched over to whole sign houses. I feel like I finally made sense as opposed to being in Placidus, but that was also with some Hellenistic components, with factoring in whether it's a day chart or night chart and what is of sect, and those extra things also made my chart just make so much more sense to me. But just real quickly, so if you do have a reading with me and some of your houses seem to change based on what you may have heard in the past, that's because we're using whole sign houses. Placidus is different, and there's room for everybody.